If you're a future bride and you're planning on doing your own makeup for your wedding and you don't want to spend $1 million on your bridal makeup products, then I got you. Consider this your ultimate guide to doing a bridal glam on a budget. Let's get right into it. Now I am going to include skin prep for this, and the skin prep is going to be much more affordable than a lot of the other products you see me use on my channel. These are all available either at Target or online or on Amazon. They're both very, very affordable. We're going to start with the Prequel half and half. This is a very easy, simple way to hydrate your skin, get it nice and soothed, get it plumped up and ready and juicy for your makeup. And that's exactly what you want for your bridal makeup. So we're going to start with the half and half. This is an amazing product. We're going to pour this into my hand. Now I have nothing on my skin. I am bone dry, literally. Now, one of the things I want to point out, if you're doing your own makeup, and you know, if you watch my channel, you know I'm all about skincare, skin prep, and all that good stuff. And I like to go all in with my skin prep. I like a good routine. But when it comes to your bridal makeup and your wedding day, it is very important to realize that you need to take a step back. You actually need to reel it in, and you need to minimize your products that you put underneath your makeup, because when it comes to your wedding day, you just can't fool around. I'm going to pour a bit more of half and half on my hands. I'm going to get this really under my eyes. This is one of the best products I have tried in recent years as far as like hydrating under the eyes. Between this and the Fenty Fat Water, the milky one, these will get your under eyes so plumped, so hydrated. Now my eyes are gonna be really red. I've been taking my makeup off, doing my makeup many times, and my eyes have not really recovered from that. So they look a little extra red currently. Now, very important, even when you're being minimal with your bridal makeup and your bridal skin prep, you still wanna bring it down your neck and absolutely get your chest hydrated. Get your chest, get your shoulders, get your décolleté, get whatever you like to call it, get your collarbone, get your neck, everything nice and lightly hydrated. Also, very important, if you're doing your own bridal makeup, just get your hair completely out of your way. Just get it, pull it completely back. That's why I have a headband on. Clips, we're not gonna do it. When you're doing a bridal makeup look, or a very important makeup look, just get the hair completely out of your way, because the last thing you need is the distraction and it getting in the way of your blending. When you're doing your bridal makeup or any event makeup, you gotta just get in there. So now that we have this on, we're gonna lock this in with a very affordable moisturizer. One that I use in my professional makeup kit, one that I've used on brides, whatever the case is. I prep majority of my clients' skin with the multi-peptide moisturizer from Naturium. This is also available at Target and on Amazon. It's very, very affordable. So if you're a bride on a budget, skip the La Mer, skip the Embryolisse, and just go for this, because it's going to give you the same exact effect. I promise you. And it's gonna be less greasy and less slippery under your makeup. Start with, I do about that much. And again, you're going to want to cater this first of all to your skin type. If you have combination oily skin like me, don't overdo it with the moisturizer. Do just enough to lock in the hydrator, but not so much where your skin can't fully absorb it and it's going to cause your makeup to slip. You just need a minimal amount of product. Now, get it in there, rub it in, wake up your face. Very, very important. Same thing. I'm going to take this, but this time I'm actually going to skip my neck, and we're just going to go straight in to my chest, my décolleté. I'm going to get it nice and all over. I feel naked, but I am wearing a white faux leather tank top, in case you're wondering. Okay, skin is prepped. Now we're going to dive into a lip prep from the drugstore. This actually offers a great solution to a more expensive lip product that I use all the time to prep my lips. So if we're on a budget and we're doing our bridal glam, do not neglect your lips. Get a good lip prep on before you start your makeup. Your lips will thank you later. So this is the L'Oreal Plump Ambition Hyaluron Lip Oil. This plumps your lips, hydrates it, and is also very soothing because it is a lip oil. This one's just clear with like a slight little iridescent shimmer to it. It doesn't matter because we're going to wipe it off anyway once our makeup is fully done. But let this absorb and really get it on your lips. And it's going to plump our lips, smooth the appearance of fine lines and texture in our lips. And this is exactly what you want to do for your bridal makeup. Trust me. Now I want to touch on sunscreen really quick. And my mindset has always been and will continue to be, there's one day to skip sunscreen, because sunscreen is a wild card that you throw into the mix of your makeup, okay? It can make or break your makeup look. I'm not afraid of flash photography picking up on the sunscreen. As long as you're not using zinc oxide sunscreen, like that white sunscreen, you should be okay. However, I just feel like if there's one day to skip it, it's gonna be your wedding day. Just skip it one day. And I promise you, I really, truly, wholeheartedly, 100% promise you, skipping sunscreen for one day of your life is not gonna turn you into the crypt keeper. Yeah, I promise you, okay? And if it does, it's not the sunscreen. It's probably the amount of alcohol you're gonna drink on your wedding day. It's not the lack of sunscreen for one day. I promise you. So what I always say is it's better safe than sorry. In terms of sunscreen, cut it out. It's one day. It's not going to kill you. Now, I'm going to let this absorb a bit more before we go in with a primer. And that's right. You heard me say that correctly. There's one day where primer comes into play and is going to be just a why not, like safe bet. It's going to be your wedding day or a special event where you have to be out and about and wearing your makeup for a long, extended period of time. So we're going to skip to prepping our eyes. And for that, I'm using a really great long wearing concealer from Milani. This is a full coverage concealer. We're using this to prep our eyelids and use this ultimately as an eyeshadow base and primer. Since this is a long wear concealer, you don't have to worry about it being too hydrating and causing your eyeshadow to crease and to not wear well throughout the day. It's not going to add more glow and excess oil to your eyelids because it is long wearing and it's supposed to be crease proof. Now we will set it. But to start, the Milani Conceal and Perfect Longwear Concealer. This is in the shade 125 Light Neutral. And we're going to grab two brushes. Okay, we're going to grab the N16 brush first. And we're going to start to tap this in and basically coat our entire eyelid. And for the look today, it's bridal, quite obviously. Real very timeless, classic bridal. Classic tones, classic cheek, and hopefully a classic lip. Just keeping it really, really timeless. So if that sounds like something that interests you while on a budget, then this video really is truly for you. So I'm pushing this onto my eyelid. I want to really make sure it's securing to my eyelid. It's locking it in. It's really gripping to my eyelids, okay? So tap, tap, tap. My favorite saying. Now you'll notice I'm bringing this out towards my temple because we are going to be placing shadow in this area too. So we want to make sure this is primed ahead of time and well pigmented. Okay, now that is on, we're going to grab and set our eyes with a setting powder that we're going to be using for this tutorial. I swear this is the best drugstore loose powder that I've tried to date. And you guys told me about it forever and ever. And I finally am a believer and I love it. I'm debating between using 05 Fair and 01 Light. I'm going to start with 05 Fair. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose powder. Taking the powder, I'm going to dump some in the cap. I'm going to grab a N14 brush. We're going to take this brush, dip into the powder. And what you're going to do is take a small amount. You're going to put it in the sifter to eliminate the excess products. Almost use it like a cheese grater. You're gonna go back and forth. Make sure you don't have too much powder. And before you go on and set that lid, give it one more little blend like that. Now lock that eyeshadow base, aka our concealer, into place, okay? So press and press, don't swipe, don't dig. Just push it on, mattify it until you don't see any shine anymore. And that is how you're gonna set your eye makeup for your wedding on a budget. Now I have a really exciting product that I've never tried, but I tested it out just on my hand. I swatched it. I felt the texture. It feels very, very promising. It was a really great deal. This is a $10 palette from LA Girl Cosmetics. Now we're not going to use all these shades. I bought this palette specifically for the top row and this row right here. We're going to probably use all 5 of those matte shades. This is the LA Girl Keep It Playful Eye Palette. When you're on a budget, you don't want to spend like $1 million on an eyeshadow palette, obviously, so I really think this is going to be a great option. An honorable mention is the Milani Gilded Mini in the shade Whiskey Business. Now, before we get too far into this video, I want to call out really quickly. You'll notice that we're popping items on the screen. These are high-end items that have a heftier, much higher price tag than the items I'm showing you for this budget bridal makeup look. So I thought it'd be really interesting to show you and compare the price point of each items. And really what I would ultimately use if I didn't have a budget and if I was just doing a bridal makeup look, the items that I'm popping on the screen are what I would actually use along with the price point that they carry versus what I'm using in this tutorial and how much money you're going to save. In the end of this video, we're going to tally it up. You're going to be able to see the grand total of what it would cost if you're using high-end products versus what it's costing you on a budget. So hopefully you find that helpful along the way. Okay, now I'm going to grab the BK Beauty. This is the 203 brush. We're going to dip into the lightest tan beige shade and we're going to use this to do a nice bright inner tear duct of our eye. So we're just going to pat this on, press it on to the tear duct. And I don't just, when I say the tear duct, I really want to point out it's important not to sell yourself short with your eyes, okay? Meaning don't just consider this little itty bitty part of your skin and your eye as the tear duct. this whole area, I want you to consider this entire area your tear duct. So it might feel like you're placing shadow on the side of your nose. Quite frankly, you are, but you're gonna get the most bang for your buck with your eyes, and you're gonna get the most big open-eyed effect if you don't cheat yourself and you really bring it all over this area. So don't be stingy with your tear duct, okay? Taking more, and I'm going to place this on the inner quarter of my eye. I'm not going into the crease, I'm going up to the eyelid and stopping it right there. Same thing, we're gonna press. And this is why it's important that we place that eyeshadow, the concealer, and then we set into place in this area as well, because we're bringing our eyeshadow here and we're doing the eyes before we do the rest of the face. So it's going on top of that concealer eyeshadow base, and then press, press. The pigment on this palette is really astonishing for $10. It's really, really nice. It's simple shades, classic shades. Shades that are not gonna go out of style. Shades that you won't regret using 10 years later when you're looking back at your wedding photos. You won't regret this kind of eye makeup look. So very, very timeless. Placing more on the inner quarter of my eyelid. I say quarter, but it's probably really realistically about half the eyelid, if I'm being honest, which is fine. We're gonna bring some darker shades in that area as well. But nice, so far we have a really open-eyed, really pretty look to our eyes, and it's only one shadow and a concealer, that's it so far. So now we're gonna switch brushes. We're gonna switch to a clean 13 brush, okay? We're gonna dip into this next shadow right next to that light beige. Dip in, tap off the excess, always a safe measure, and we're gonna start in a very classic spot. We're gonna start to blend this in the outer corner in the crease. So popping it in the socket right here, okay? And if you have hooded eyes like me, or one hooded eye like me, I'll show you how to do the hooded eye as well, but I like to start with this eye because it's just a bit more rewarding in terms of the shadow. Now you wanna always start your shadow in the area that you want to be the deepest. So a good rule of thumb is don't start in the middle, because you're gonna put too much product in that area and it's gonna be harder to blend it out. Always start, if you're doing your makeup at home or if you're doing it for your wedding, always start your first amount of shadow, that first sweep, in the area that you know you want to be the darkest. Now with this hooded eye, I kind of have to act like there's more of a crease than there is, and I kind of just have to just ignore it, basically. Go in there and apply it on the actual bone of my brow bone and kind of fake a crease to match this eye to this eye. It's very fun. Now once you have the bulk of the product and the pigment, that's when you could start doing that windshield wiper motion. And that's when you can very confidently do a windshield wiper motion, knowing that you're not going to have too much product on your brush and it's not going to destroy your eye makeup that you're carefully trying to craft. The same thing, I'm not dipping back into more product, I'm just taking whatever's left over on the brush and starting to connect it across my crease, just like that. Now that shade's on, I'm going to dip to this next shade, which is a bit deeper, not by much. Tap off the excess, don't forget, start it in the same place where you want to be the darkest, and you want the most pigment to show up, which is going to be the outer corner if you're going for a classic bridal look, that is. And start to do small circular motions, and then you can start to do, again, your windshield wiper. As you get into deeper shades, I would stop the windshield wiper motion to halfway, right where your pupil is, right there, and not go all the way across unless you're going for a bit more of a dramatic eye. Tap off and repeat. Same thing. And now what I'm going to do is, with whatever's left over, I'm going to start to just blend this outward towards the temple. And this is where we can kind of be messy, because I'm going to teach you exactly how to clean it up in the simplest, easiest way. So don't mind how messy this looks. Don't mind how low you go, because I'm going to teach you the quickest way to clean it up. We don't even have to worry about it. So same thing, blend out the rest, diffuse it out to the temple. And now we're just going to layer a bit more as we go. So as we want to see more color intensity, more pigment, let's say you want this to be your stopping point. It's up to you. If you want to stop here, you totally can. For me, I want to have a bit more impact. So I'm going to layer a bit more of that last shade that we applied, just like that. Really bringing it out and blending it out. So you know your own comfort level when it comes to your makeup, and I want you to really have that discernment when you're doing your own bridal makeup. Know when to stop, know when it feels like you still. And don't go past that point where you start to look in the mirror and you don't recognize yourself. If that's important to you and you want to look like you, which you should want to look like you, but it's just a slightly more enhanced best of you version for your wedding day, then stop when you're ahead. Okay, shadow looks good. Again, really soft, really pretty, really classic, and really timeless. Now, I do need to match up my hooded eye a bit more. I'm seeing on the monitor it's not looking as matchy-matchy, so I need to go up a bit more on my eyelid to match this up. And you're going to want to do this when you're doing your own bridal makeup. You're going to be going back and forth. You're going to be layering back and forth. That's how you're going to get a pro-like makeup look all on your own. So now that we have that on, I'm going to switch to a very small blending brush. This is the Angie A504 blending brush from BK Beauty. And now what we're going to do is take this next deepest shade. It's a nice deep neutral brown. And we're going to use this. I'm actually going to start with my hooded eye this time. We're going to start this right on the lash line. And we're just going to do a soft diffused wash of this literally along the lash line. And again, don't worry about it being messy or too low, because we're going to clean that up. Look straight into a mirror if you have hooded eyes. Very, very important. So either have a close mirror like this close by, or make sure you're standing up looking directly into whatever mirror you're doing your makeup in, and you're not looking down, okay? Very, very important if you're doing your own makeup, especially for your wedding day. Look straight ahead. You're not going to worry about the messiness. I'm just going to call it out one more time just in case you get spooked. If you're doing it on your own, do not let this scare you. Bring it out and trust the process. Of course, you need the right tools, and a small blending brush like this is going to make your life so much easier. So now with whatever's left over, I'm swiping this further across my lash line, taking it very slow, being very thoughtful with this because you don't want to mess up this part. Like now you're in it deep basically. So there's going back, but you don't want to go back from here. So same thing, we repeat this on this eye. Now this eye is not hooded, so I don't have to be as careful. So if you see me closing, just know it's because this eye is not hooded. Therefore, I don't have to apply the same rules of keeping my eye open and looking directly into a mirror. But it's always a good practice to keep your eyes open anyway, if you can. So we're getting in there, we're blending, we're doing a soft wash of this brown. The reason why I chose this brush too is it's a soft blending brush and it's a fluffier one. It's small, but it's fluffy. So it's not going to deposit a harsh amount of pigment. Let's say I use this same shadow and I use my N12 brush, for example. That's a more small, precise buffing and blending smudger brush. And it doesn't have as much give. Like this is actually a fluffy brush. So it's going to give me that diffused look to the shadow, which is what I'm looking for. Looking good. You want it to look messy because I'm telling you, the messier the outer corner, the better the payoff is going to be once we clean this up. And once we feel like we're in a decent place with that dark brown, we're going to switch gears to an eyeliner. I'm actually going to use a classic black eyeliner and a really amazing drugstore formula eyeliner. This is a very long wearing. It's the Maybelline Color Tattoo eyeliner. It's a gel black, really richly pigmented black eyeliner. So taking this, what we're going to do is very slowly run this on the top lash line, getting this as close as humanly possible to your lash line. Don't go too thick. Wiggle it, get it in there as close and as tightly as you possibly can. It's going to give your lashes a much more thick appearance even before you do like actual lashes or mascara. And in photos, it's going to look really good. The black is really going to pop. I love brown as well if you're going for a softer look, but when I think of classic bridal, I do think of black. Just moderation. Look how pretty that is. This pencil is honestly insane. It's so good. So now I'm taking this and I'm pushing it really, really precisely into my lash line. Now you want this to be tapered, meaning it's going to be thicker in the outer corner. You're going to follow the same kind of shape as the brown eyeshadow. So use that as your guide almost, but don't go as thick, obviously. And you're going to keep this really, really petite and close to your lashes. Now, as I get in towards the halfway point, I'm really being careful not to go too thick or too dramatic. I just want to line my eyes. I want to define them so they pop, so they're present in photos. That's the biggest takeaway from this eyeliner, is you want them to pop and you want them to be present and not washed out in your wedding day photos. Now that we have that on, I'm going to take the same pencil and we're going to do a little bit of tight lining. So wiggle this in to your lashes. Just take your time. If you're doing your own bridal makeup, I highly encourage you to lock the room, lock the door, lock everyone out. Everyone. Anyone that's not going to be of help of you doing your own makeup for your wedding day, just lock them out. They'll forgive you. All those questions, give them a different point of contact. Have your maid of honor or one of your bridesmaids answer the questions. Just try to just have your you time on your wedding day. If you're doing your own makeup, you're not having it professionally done because you're on a budget, let's just say, and that's why you're doing drugstore makeup, just do yourself that favor and do yourself that solid and just lock the door. Get peace and quiet and maintain your peace, literally. Okay, so I'm going to switch to my N11 brush, also with BK Beauty. Now, one thing we're going to do is we're going to lock this black eyeliner into place. That is absolutely going to be so crucial and so important. So we're going to take the N11, dip into this black matte shade. Now, make sure you're tapping off the excess. Another really good rule of thumb is to push this into the brush so you have just enough product to stamp on. Now, you're not going to go back and forth. None of that stuff. You're just going to maneuver this and wiggle this on top the black pencil. And this is also where you could take the time to, like, if you want more of an extended wing, if you want more of a dramatic eyeliner look, it's up to you. I'm just teaching you a very classic, very simple, very elegant and timeless bridal makeup look. And then from here, you'll have all like the basics down basically. And then you could take the basics and then you could tweak them to your personal liking. And so if you love a dramatic wing liner and you want to really go bold with your liner, take the same techniques that I showed you and just go thicker and pull it out wider. Oh, do you like that? Oops. So I'm pushing this on top with whatever's left over. We're gonna run it across. So it's a nice connecting line. There's no separation. It's beautifully cohesive. Same thing, we're gonna lock this side in. And again, just very important for longevity when you're doing your bridal makeup. Something I want you to keep in mind always is whatever liquid you put on your skin, whatever cream you put on your skin, you're gonna wanna lock that in with a like-minded powder. What I mean by like-minded is a like-minded shade. Okay, very nice. My eyes are very beautifully, classically defined. I'm gonna add a touch more in the outer corner. And again, this is where you can customize your look. So I want to have it a little bit further out than that. So adding just a bit more. Gorgeous. I love it. We're actually done with this palette for now until we get to the bottom lash line, which I want you to hold off doing anything on the bottom lash line until your concealer is on and fully set. So we're gonna hold off for a minute. In the meantime, we're gonna be putting on a waterproof mascara. Waterproof is absolutely going to be what you want for your wedding day, whether you're a crier or not. You wanna make sure you're not risking your mascara smudging on your wedding day. That's the worst thing. So when you're laughing, you're looking down, you're doing whatever it is you're doing, dancing, partying. If you don't have a waterproof mascara on, you are running a risk of having raccoon eyes. That's just the bottom line. So the L'Oreal Paradise Big Deal Waterproof Mascara is what we're gonna be using for our budget bridal makeup look. And it's new, so I like to pump some air into the formula. Gonna grab that wand. I'm not worried about curling my lashes because we're gonna be putting some very affordable, beautiful lashes on. So what we wanna do is just do a very simple coat. We're not trying to go for drama yet, nothing like that. We just wanna do a nice little shelf base layer for our false lashes to sit on top. Perfect, that is the perfect amount. Now, we need to clean up this eye makeup. So let me teach you how to do it. I'm assuming you have some makeup wipes with you on your wedding day. So you're gonna take a makeup wipe, you're gonna wrap it very tightly around your finger, okay? You're gonna look straight ahead and you're going to gently, as gently as you can, pull straight out and slow it down. Be careful. You don't wanna take away too much. You wanna just clean up that area, just like that. Gonna wrap it up again, get this fallout and a bit of that liner. Now you'll notice I am cleaning up quite a bit under the eyes, so we will go back in with a bit more of our skin prep. My makeup is cleaned up. I'm just gonna go back to the prequel half and half, take a small amount, nourish those under eyes one more time. This is fast absorbing, but you're left with a well-balanced, well-hydrated under eye. If you have really, really dry under eyes, then take a bit more of your moisturizer, and I'm talking a bit. Don't overload it. Do not overload your under eyes with too much moisturizer. It will burn you in the end, and it will cause so much creasing with your concealer throughout the day. And it's the last thing you want when you're a bride. Okay, now that that is on, I'm actually gonna dive into brows. I wanna get my brows going. I wanna get them in a good place because I wanna balance the rest of my makeup before I go into my complexion. This is something I want you to do too as a bride. So if you're doing your makeup at home, do your brows. Do your brows before it gets too far into your makeup application. Now, I already had a little bit of brow stuff on to start this makeup look. I had the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Brow to Tinted Brow Wax Gel. So I brushed up my brows with this first, and I'll pop on the screen once again what I would use in place of this if I was doing a more high-end, non-budget bridal makeup look. So we're gonna go in with a brow pencil first, okay? This is gonna be a very affordable drugstore one. It's the Maybelline Express Brow, and it's a small little micro pencil, very easy to work with, and we're gonna take this. Now, I don't like to do my brows at close range. I don't have perspective that way. So what I want you to do is look a little bit further away in your mirror. So for example, I have this mirror set up here. This is a really good distance to be able to gauge and have good perspective on what needs more filling, what's uneven, what needs to be higher, what doesn't. But when you're looking at your brows and you're trying to fill them in like this is not it, girl. It's not it. Just trust me. Pull it back. That's for like very close detail. You need perspective. And also, I forgot. Oh my gosh, before I forget, do yourself a favor. If you have oily skin or not, take a bit of your setting powder on a small brush, powder these suckers down so that way your brow pencil actually grips. Okay, now we can stop talking and we can go in. I'm going to thicken up my brows a bit so they look a little bit more balanced to my face. Everyone's brows are different, so do what you need depending on your brows and also your makeup style. For this makeup look, I'm going to extend the tail a bit further than I normally would. It's going to look really, really pretty in photos. It's going to help to elongate and widen my eye area and also go and be really balanced with the shape that I created with my eye makeup. Doing feather strokes, like little feathering hair-like strokes. Again, always take a step back, try to reevaluate what's going on. I feel like I'm in a good spot right now. I do need a bit more right here. Now I can move on. Take a step back, put the pencil down. You can always go back and fill them in more if you need to, but I think I'm actually at a really good point. I think if I do any more, it's going to be way too empowering for my skin and my face. So one thing I want to do is actually pull out a clear brow gel. Now, normally I would top my clients' brows, whether they're a bride or not. And full disclosure, I don't do bridal makeup anymore. So don't get any funny ideas. I don't do it anymore. I probably do like 1 to 2 brides a year, but it's usually only for really dear friends or people that I've known for an extremely long time. So those are like the exception, but I used to do bridal makeup full time. For, I want to say like 8 years of my career, I did bridal makeup full time. I had no weekends, no Friday night, no Saturday night. Woke up at the crack of dawn every single weekend, and it is not for the faint of heart. It is not an easy career or avenue to take as a makeup artist. So shout out to all my bridal makeup artists out there because you guys work so insanely hard, so hard. And our backs are always broken. We schlep, we do so much stuff, and we always are on lack of sleep, lack of food, and lack of hydration. So if you are not planning on doing your own bridal makeup and you're planning on getting it done, just take care of your bridal makeup artists. They really deserve a lot of extra love and food. Feed them and give them water. So we're going to do some clear brow gel to lock in these brows. This is also from the drugstore. Fantastic if you're on a budget. It's the L'Oreal 24-hour brow lamination. So if you have unruly brows, but you don't want your brows to be too shellacked, this is a really great drugstore brow gel. Probably the best one out there, to be honest. Okay, we're gonna let that dry down. Put this aside. Okay, now that that is on, we're gonna do something that is absolutely optional. I want to just really put that out there. It's completely optional. It's up to you. If you want to keep your bridal makeup soft, matte, very, very timeless, very, very classic, then stop right here. But if you like a little shimmer and you like that little glitz and glam in photos especially, this is something I highly recommend. It's something that I would urge you to do because it just pops and looks so beautiful both in person, in flash photography, and in just regular photography and video. So it's going to be something that I highly recommend. However, you could definitely stop here if this is your jam. I'm not judging you. But if you're on a budget and you want something that is really pretty and a very soft shimmer, not over the top, not too chunky, not too metallic, not too glittery, I think this is a really great product to pop on your eyes if you're a bride on a budget. This is from e.l.f. It's a single shadow. It's the Fine as Fleck glitter shadow. It's in the shade White Hot. I'll make sure this is linked specifically, and I'll make sure I also link what I would use that's more high-end, more expensive. Now these are going to go on best with your fingertips and the warmth of your fingertips, but just be careful, okay? So we're going to take a very small amount, just like that. And what I want you to do is hit the center and where that lightest shade is. And it's up to you to apply as much as you want or as little as you want. It's just going to be a really soft glow that in certain light is going to be so worth it and so pretty and just so classic bridal. I wouldn't skip this step personally. And what I would also suggest you do is if you are doing your own makeup, if you're a bride coming up and you have time and you're wanting to test out your bridal look ahead of time, I highly encourage you to do as many test runs as possible. And when you do those test runs, take as many photos as possible. Take it in your car, take it in the natural daylight, take it with a flash camera, take it with your iPhone or whatever your phone is with the flash on. Test it in all kinds of different lights and scenarios, and then from there you're going to reassess what needs tweaking, what needs more, what needs less, what suits your needs. You get the idea. But don't just do this cold turkey, first time, first try on your wedding day. Even if you have me to watch, I don't suggest it. Okay, now that that's on, we're gonna add lashes. And these are a really beautiful, I wanna say they're a 3/4 lash. I think they say they're half, yeah, they're marketed as a half lash. However, if you have smaller eyes like mine, these are gonna look like a almost all the way lash, which is great. They're very tapered. They're in the style Freckles. It's the Kiss, the New Natural, effortless, minimal look lashes. These are fluttery perfection and so beautiful, so classic. One of the things I want to point out, if you're a bride-to-be and you're doing your own makeup, something that I would suggest, and this is just me personally, is I wouldn't get lash extensions for your wedding unless you're going to somebody that you truly trust and you know their style and they've done them before on you and you love the way they look. They can come out very heavy and they could ultimately look like a shelf sitting on top of your lash line, causing shadows, causing your eyes to look actually really sleepy, really heavy, maybe a little stoned. So if you don't want to risk that, I would say skip the lash extensions. Again, unless you are going to someone that you know you totally trust and you know is going to do an incredible job and it just gets your style. One thing I want to do, even though these are marketed as a half lash, I still highly encourage you and I urge you, if you're doing your lashes, to cut them in half. Since these are a half lash and not a full lash, normally a full lash I would cut into 3 sections. I'm going to start with just 2 and that's going to be more than fine. So take your little itty bitty scissors and you're going to cut these bad boys directly in half. Grab a good strong hold lash glue. I don't like the duo and the tube. I like any of the ones that brush on. This one from Ardell is really phenomenal. I just got this recently and discovered how strong this is. So strong hold is going to be your best friend. This is the brush that it comes with. What you're going to need is a pair of tweezers. So if you have your long, beautiful bridal nails on, you're not going to be able to get in there and place these guys on top. So you need tweezers. I always start with the outer lash first. You're going to run this along the band, okay? And just to speed up the dry time, you're going to blow on it. Get it nice and tacky. And then you're going to plop this quite literally on top. Now what I like to do is go a little bit above for a little lifty lift, okay? And what that does is it ensures that you don't have pesky shadow dragging down the side and the corner of your eye. Okay, so just slightly above to give you a little lift and to ensure that it doesn't drag down your lashes and your eye. Same thing, run the glue, blow on it, dry it down, and then ploppy plop. Lashes are on one eye and they feel so nice and so lightweight. Now, if you're a bride, take this glue, pop it in your clutch, pop it in your little bridal bag, your emergency bag, because just in case, it's always good to keep your glue on hand with you at all times, just in case. Okay, now that that's on, we're gonna let those lashes dry down entirely. We'll probably put a little bit more liner in between and one more coat of mascara, but until then, we're gonna do a little bit of primer. And there's one primer from the drugstore that I am absolutely loving. It's really great for just gripping your makeup. It's not thick and goopy like a couple other grippy primers are. It's the Maybelline Grippy Serum Primer. Now, this is very thin, very lightweight. What I want you to do is not put this all over and instead put it in very careful places. So for me, I want more grip around my nose. Things don't stick to my nose. Foundations tend to not stick to my nose. And this is going to help ultimately the wear time and your makeup stay put in areas of concern. So usually, generally speaking, it's the T-zone. So get it on there. It dries very quickly. I'm gonna take a teeny bit more and just run a little bit across my forehead, okay? Once that is on and gripped, you're gonna move on to liquid illuminator. And there's one liquid illuminator that I always keep in my pro kit and is just such a gorgeous product. It is the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion. This is the shade medium. They have a lighter one, a deeper one. Now what I'm gonna do first is actually start this on my chest. And for that, we're gonna squeeze this on top of a BK Beauty 101 brush. I'm gonna lift up my necklaces, as should you, and you're gonna do this all over your chest. Now, it may not look that wildly impactful on camera right now, but in flash photography and in your photography in general, it's gonna give your body the most beautiful, healthy glow. So let me actually take more of this. All right, bring it down your neck. And we're gonna take more, pop it on our shoulders. Do this also after your wedding dress is on, because if you're stepping into your dress, whatever happens, I mean, you just don't want to risk getting any kind of makeup on your dress. So always do this after you are dressed. And for safe measure, you can always place tissues. This is what I do on set with people that are already fully dressed in their outfits. Take a tissue. Let's say this was my wedding dress. That's what you want to do to your straps, all along your straps, and of course, to your chest. Okay, I don't need to do this, but helpful tip out there. So a bit more. Let me try to do this left-handed. It's not very easy. This side's not going to be as impactful because of my tattoos, but it's still pretty enough. Just kind of gives Bridal Frankenstein a little glow. Kind of made her look a little bit gray, actually. All right, chest and décolleté are glowing. We're feeling goddessy. Now we're gonna put this on our face. So a good squeeze of this. We're gonna start this at the top of the forehead and along the side of the cheeks. Now I would avoid this area right here above your lip. You could do a little bit down the bridge of your nose, depending on your skin type, or if you have larger pores in your nose, you're gonna wanna skip this there, but definitely skip here above your lip. You don't wanna look like you're sweating glitter, and just focus on the smoother high points of your face. So across the forehead, on the cheeks. Now this also gives your skin really great grip, and it's gonna give your makeup something to grip to as well. So it's an all around amazing, amazing product, especially for bridal makeup. So while that's doing its thing, at the lower part of my chin, not where I have texture right here, trying to focus it right here instead. Bring it down the neck once again. All right, and now we're gonna do some underpainting, my friends, and do not be afraid of underpainting. If you're not a pro makeup artist, I got you, don't worry. You're gonna take a liquid bronzer. This is the e.l.f. very affordable liquid bronzer and contour. It's in the shade light medium. This is all about $8, I believe. It is such a great buy. So if you're on a budget and you're doing your bridal glam, grab this product. Now, we're gonna do a dot method just to be a little bit frugal at first, and then we'll add more as we need it. So we're gonna do a light swipe down our nose and contour your nose according to your nose and what your preference is. You may not want to contour your nose at all, but I do encourage you to add some product there just to balance it out. Now I'm gonna grab a tissue. I'm gonna blot off that lip balm. It's done its thing. My lips feel 20 million times better than when I started. Take the same product. This is optional. This is where it's gonna come down to preference. I do like to contour my lips. It's gonna look wild at first. Grab a good blending brush. I'm gonna grab the BK Beauty 109 and we're gonna start to press this in. You're not gonna buff, you're not gonna dig in, you're not gonna do anything like that. You're gonna be slow and very mindful, and you're just going to tap this in, trying to keep it away from the center. You wanna leave that for your highlighting. So if you do get in that area, don't worry, we could fix it. It's kind of inevitable sometimes if you're using a really pigmented liquid product, but just get this in, get it in your hair line. Unless you're blonde, be very, very careful. You want to get as close to your hairline as possible so you don't see a white or pale scalp in your photos. On the cheeks, try to keep it really precise. Try not to drag it down. You don't want to lower the appearance of your cheeks. You want to keep them nice and high up. So really slow down your blending at this point and just tap it in and tap up, not down. So gradually go up, that's totally fine, but just don't go gradually down. If you do go too far down, again, there's always a fix for this kind of placement. So start up, tapping up, pushing it up, tapping it into your skin. Don't go too low. Just keep that in mind the entire time you're blending this. And when in doubt, go with less product. It's a very pigmented product, so if you're intimidated by it, I definitely get it, and just use a lot less to start and then start to build it up slowly. But underpainting on your wedding day is something that I 1000% recommend you do. If you want to chisel and snatch your jawline, take whatever's left over, but don't go crazy on your wedding day, because this is the most detectable place you could contour your face or your body. So be very, very sparing and very frugal in this area. Use whatever's left over and don't swipe on a hefty amount, because you'll never be able to blend that out, and it will always look very makeup-y and very obvious that you're trying to contour your jawline. Push it up, bring it down your neck. This slims the neck. Tap it in. Now, once you have everything really roughly blended in like this, it doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to put foundation on top, so just keep that in mind. It's not the end all be all right now. Switch to a smaller brush. I'm going to switch to, of course, my BK Beauty N16 brush. Where are you at? We're going to blend out the nose and use light pressure. And this is also an area where you don't have to be super duper careful, because there's a really quick fix to clean up any areas that you might have gone too low with your contour. So I'm going to blend this into the brow very carefully. Just kind of connect this almost like a little archway leading into your eyes. Connect it up just like that. Now the lip, don't be scared. Telling you, once you get your foundation on, you're gonna feel like J-Lo. So do not let this scare you right now, okay? I know it's gonna look wild, but just don't let it spook you, I promise you. It's not a haunted house. We're just creating a lot of shape and a lot of bone structure before we put the foundation on. So speaking of foundation, okay, I really debated between two Holy Grail drugstore foundations to choose for this bridal makeup on a budget. Ultimately, I think I'm gonna go with the Maybelline 30 Hour Lumi Matte. Honestly, it's a tie. It really is a total tie, and there's not one that's better than the other. I don't know. I'm just drawn a little bit more to this one nowadays than I am to this one. Both are absolute iconic classics at this point. This one's just a new iconic classic, but this one's been around for a million trillion years. It's the L'Oreal Infallible 32-hour fresh wear. It's a new reformulation of this classic one. And this one is a new reformulation on a previous one, from what I understand. This is now the Lumi Matte. So it's got basically a little bit of luminosity and a matte formula. So it's going to dry down. That's the most important part of this. And that's why I wanted to use this one. So brides at home, shake your foundation. Don't forget, if it's been sitting on your shelf for more than a couple days or even just a day, shake that formula up really, really well. Now, the reason why I did ultimately go with this one is because it's matte. It's got a luminosity to it. So there's illuminating particles in this formula. So it's not going to look flat on your skin. It's not going to look flat in photos. It's not going to look flat when you're face to face with your wedding guests, which is ideal. But what's great about this is it's going to dry down to a matte feeling. So when you're kissing people, when you're hugging people, when you're saying hi to people, you're not going to be able to instantly touch it and transfer it off your skin, basically. So it's just ideal. It's a really fantastic formula. Now I'm gonna grab a clean N17. What we're gonna do is really work this into the bristles of the brush, and the shade I forgot to mention that I use is 120. As always, I'll pop on the screen what I would use if I were actually doing a bridal makeup look and the price. So we're gonna do a mixture of tapping and buffing. The buffing is gonna happen on the lower half of our face, so it doesn't look like we have a mask and a line ever of product. And the tapping is gonna be where we want more precision and where we want more coverage. So for me, above my lip, I want to really secure this and push this product into my skin. And this is something I want you to do at home. If you're doing your makeup and if you're practicing for your big day, make sure you're not just going shoo, like all, don't willy-nilly it, okay? I want you to be precise, and I want you to push it onto the areas that you want it to adhere to the most, which is usually like the problem areas, right? Like the T-zone, along the side of the nose, above the lip. I want you to push and buff. And when you're buffing, be a little bit more gentle. You don't want to dig up any of the other products. You don't want to dig up the primer. You don't want to dig up the liquid illuminator or anything like that. And when you're going over your areas that you pre-contoured and underpainted, you're going to do a light wash of it. You're not going to go full on painting over it. You're just going to do a light wash. And I want you to hit these areas last, okay? Where you have what the minimalist amount of product left over in your brush, just to get a soft blend. Oh, this foundation is just amazing. It really is. It's a fantastic formula. So doing one pump at a time, that way I don't overwhelm myself. That way I don't accidentally put on too much product. It's a really good tip to utilize. One pump at a time, slowly build it up. Now I'm going to focus this first in the center. I'm using my hand as my painter's palette. This is what I want you to do as well. Like, be your own Bob Ross. If you're doing your makeup on your wedding day, you gotta get in the zone. You gotta get in the Bob Ross zone, okay? You gotta just own it. Just say it out loud. Say that you're Bob Ross for the day, and you're gonna just rock your bridal makeup look on a budget. So lightly shading in the areas that we underpainted with the bronzer. And then we're gonna go on top of this and lock into place with a powder bronzer to really enforce it, and also to bring out the color once again. But right now you should have a soft peeking through amount of bronzer underneath your foundation. Now once you're happy with the amount of coverage, it's going to be different for everyone. So once you're happy with the amount of coverage, take a step back, look back in the mirror, make sure there's no areas that you missed, make sure you got everything really well blended and locked in. Now, another thing I want you to focus on too, if you don't have a high neck going on with your bridal, with your wedding dress or whatever you're wearing for your wedding day, whatever you're wearing, if you're wearing a suit on your wedding day, just make sure you're careful, but make sure you're also bringing this down your neck, because you don't want to be two-tone. And if you don't have a spot-on color match, this is something I really highly encourage you to do. Very small amount, don't cake it on. We have a lot of lines in our neck naturally, and we create creases all throughout the day as we're looking down at our phones, we're doing whatever. So don't pack all the product in this area, because it's going to crease and it's going to look really, really bad, really unflattering. So small amount is all you need. Get a bit more of coverage on my chin. All right, before we do concealer, we're gonna do something that is just very soft, and it's gonna look really beautiful, and it's gonna be somewhat of a form of underpainting with our blush. We're gonna take a liquid blush. We're gonna set it with a powder blush in a bit, but before we do that, and before we do our under eye concealer, we're gonna do a bit of this first. It's the L'Oreal Lumi Le Glow blush. I picked up this new shade that I haven't tried before. It looked so beautiful for a bridal look. It's the shade Dewy Bright Pink. And when I think of like classic bridal, I think of course, a pink cheek look. So we're gonna take the doe foot. We're gonna start with 3 pumps. Now, I already know this formula like the back of my hand, so I don't need to like pre-blend, pre-test it, and all that good stuff. So I fully trust it, basically. So unless you fully know the formula that you're working with, like I do, then you're gonna want to pre-blend on the top of your hand, just like we do with the foundation, basically, just for safe measure. Tapping this on, doing a really nice soft wash of this. Keep it nice and high up. Isn't that pretty? Just a really soft pink blush. I love this formula. Now, L'Oreal is a slightly bit pricier drugstore brand, but ultimately they're still going to be very budget friendly in comparison to the higher end brands that you see me use a lot. So definitely fitting into our bride on a budget theme that we got going on. Very pretty. Okay, now that is on, we're going to do concealer under the eyes. And going back to that same concealer that we used earlier for the eyeshadow primer, the Milani Conceal and Perfect in the shade 125 Light Neutral. Now, this is a very full coverage concealer, so I urge you to do a small amount first. So I just have a very thin amount that I'm spreading out to any areas that I want to cover. I'm going to do a little bit of lifting, just a little bit, and then not dipping into more, taking the other side, borrowing the product on that side. I'm lining this down the side of my nose, something I want you to do because it's going to clean up the nose contour and sculpting that we did, and also enhance it in a really nice way. Now, for bridal makeup or any makeup that's going to be photographed, I like to really brighten this area of the face. So whether I'm working with clients or just on myself, I like to bring concealer all around this inner part of the face and around the nose, and then we're going to do a bit of highlighting between the brows, and we're going to take a little bit down the bridge of the nose. Okay, we're going to let this dry down and marinate and self-set for as long as possible. The highest point of my chin, just to like bounce the light up, like, oop, cute little boop chin. And then from here, it's up to you how much coverage you need. You know more than I do, but I still want you to start with less product than you think you need, because it's gonna end up being quite a bit of coverage, as you'll see in a second. I'm gonna go with my N16 brush and use the clean side of this. We're going to start in a tapping motion first. This is what I want you to do when you're doing your own makeup, especially for a special event. Don't go in right away and start to swipe. I want you to do a rough blend first. And what I mean by that is just, you're not thoroughly, wholeheartedly blending out the edges and the concealer and the product. You're doing a little baby blend. So you should be left with some shadows and some lines, but ultimately you're getting some blending done, just not all of it. So same thing. And with the highlight, this we're not trying to marinate too much. We're just going to blend this out right away. Chin, going to tap it in around the nose. All right, this is something I want you to take this time to do in between, before your concealer is fully blended out, before it's set into place, before any of that product is set into place, while your skin is still loaded up with wet products, liquids, creams, all that good stuff. Before you have powders on your skin, I want you to do a pre-finished makeup spray of good setting spray. Okay, this is going to be clutch on your wedding day. This is something that you have to remember to do, because it's going to prolong and give you way more longevity with your makeup, especially for your wedding day. Now, I found a really great waterproof, very affordable setting spray. This is $15 on Amazon. It's from Tier. For bridal makeup, you want to bring out the heavy duties, and I'll show you on the screen like what I would use instead for a non-budget friendly makeup look for brides. But this is something that is absolutely within budget and going to really lock your makeup in and secure it into place. It's a Tier Mask Fit Waterproof Setting Spray. You're going to do one full round of this before you move on to your powders. Don't forget, and shake it up. This is newer, so make sure you're doing a test round like that. Test it first. This has a really nice thin sprayer, which is ideal for not ruining your makeup. So close your eyes, say a prayer, lock it in, and let it dry down. Before you move on to any of your powders and anything else, let that dry down and lock your makeup in, pre-setting it with powder. Just trust me. Now, while that's finishing drying down and doing its thing, we're going to go back to our mascara, our waterproof Paradise Big Deal from L'Oreal. We're going to do our final round of mascara, and what this is going to do is sandwich your lashes in with the false ones, giving them no line of separation, melting the two worlds together. Do a thin amount, a thin coat, unless you want your lashes to be more dramatic, then by all means you could pop on more than I'm doing right now. But to be more classic, less is more when you're popping mascara on your false lashes. Just like that. Kind of wakes them back up, and it's going to really help to, like I said, mix the two worlds together. So do not skip this part. Try to make a mental note not to forget. Boom. Lashes look so good, so bridally, so pretty. Now that that is done, what we're gonna do is go back to our N16 brush. We're gonna do the rest of the blending. Now that our concealer has self-set, it's dried down, and we of course locked it in with the Tier waterproof setting spray. So waterproof is also gonna be sweat proof, just keep that in mind. So if you are getting married in a hot climate in the summer, or if you're just a sweater, waterproof is going to be also equaling sweat proof. Now before you set your concealer into place, make sure you're brushing out any last minute creases that formed when we weren't looking, when we weren't paying attention, when we were doing other things like checking our phone for anything happening. So blend out the nose now, and what I like to do is kind of tap, press, and buff just a bit. But be very careful, because if you have a narrow nose like me, it's really hard to get this to stick to your nose and to maintain that highlight effect. So I'm gonna go back to the contour brush, just like that. Boom, boom, boom. Makeup is looking so good. It's layered for longevity and for photos. So now we can dive in to powder. Can you believe it? I'm gonna go back to that Maybelline Fit Me loose powder in the shade 05 Fair. We're gonna use Fair, and I might need to switch to 01 as well, but we're gonna try to get away with just using this one. And I can't remember if this is too pale on the rest of my face, but we're gonna find out together. So going back to the N14 brush, pick up a small amount to start. Run it in the cheese grater part of your powder container and start to press this in under your eyes. Don't dig it, don't buff, press it in, dry it down. Powder is very smoothing, very pore refining, and wow, just gives a really airbrushed finish. Now I am gonna go in ultimately and bake just a little mini bake, and it's up to you. You don't have to do this, it's completely optional. If you have very, very dry skin, I don't suggest you do very much of it, but I do suggest you do just a teeny bit, and I'll show you why in a second. So small amount of the powder. Now you shouldn't have to use too much powder because we used a Longwear matte finish foundation and we're using a waterproof setting spray. So any areas that you want to hit with a bit more powder in addition, just go very light-handed with. But ultimately, the products that we used are meant to allow us to use a lot less powder to set the outside of our face. Okay, powder is on. We're gonna go back to the powder, add a larger amount, tap off the excess, and I like to line this up right here. This just adds a little supplement. It also helps you contour the nose even further. So if that's something that you're wanting to do, I highly encourage you to do it. Now, really quickly to show you how to set the rest of your makeup. And if you have oily skin and you want a good powder to touch up with, it's not gonna add a heaviness or more color or more pigment to your complexion. On a budget, the Milani Make It Last is phenomenal for touch-ups, for blotting, if you get shiny throughout your wedding, if you just need to blot a little bit and reduce some of the shine or some of the sweat, if you're experiencing that still, get this powder. N15 brush, we're gonna hit the areas of the outside of our face very, very lightly just to fully secure it in. We're not gonna set the blush because the blush is gonna be set with a like-minded blush in a powder form. Hit your lips. Trust me, when we get to the lip, you're gonna wanna powder your lips so your lipstick and your liners don't slip and slide around. It's gonna give you the ultimate longevity. So take the powder, hit your lips. Now we're gonna go in with the infallible L'Oreal Pressed Matte Bronzer in the shade Light Medium 300. This is my go-to. This is my absolute holy grail go-to. Grab the 104 from BK Beauty. You want this to be soft, effortless, not overly impactful. You want this to just ultimately set and bring back out that liquid bronzer you applied much earlier. So take a small amount and tap into this bronzer, tap off the excess, and you're going to press and tap it on. Because this is a fluffy brush, it's going to give you a nice natural wash of color, and it's going to lock that liquid bronzer into place and also bring it back out, because with the powders and the concealers and all that stuff, it did diminish the appearance of it somewhat. Take a smaller amount, run it into your hands, and just hit the outside of your jawline, your cheeks, really, really small amounts. And I like to hit the lower half of my nose. It's a bit wider, and just do that. Don't interrupt that bake, leave it alone. It's gonna be perfection by the time you buff it off. Now, we need to do some powder blush. One powder blush I love so much. This is like one of my all-time favorites from the drugstore, especially this shade. It's the shade Tickled Pink from Revlon. It's a classic matte powder blush, okay? It's just a beautiful, very bridal, very soft blush tone. It's gonna look perfect with the L'Oreal that we placed previously. So I'm gonna go back and switch to another N15 brush. Tap in, always a safe bet. Tap it into your hand first and then hit the high points and pop this right on top of where you placed that original liquid blush, just like that. Tap it on, Keep it nice and high up. You want to be lifted. Don't go too far down because it's going to drag down the appearance of your cheeks and also your bone structure. So we don't want to do that. Not on a wedding day. Not on any day, but especially on your wedding day. So try not to go too low. Try to go higher than you think you should. And that's actually exactly where it's going to be the most flattering. Ultimately, unless you have a very long face and you actually want to go a little bit lower just to kind of cut and balance the overall length of your face. Blush is looking so pretty, so appropriate for a good wedding day, and so nice. So now that we have our under eyes fully set, guess what time it is? We're gonna go back to that eyeshadow palette. We're gonna dip into that first mid-tone brown shade, tap off the excess, and you're gonna run this tightly along your bottom lash line. This is gonna connect your eye makeup look, give it a really cohesive look, and also give your eyes a bit more shape and a bit more balance. Unless you're going for a really clean eye makeup bridal look, then you wanna skip the bottom lash line and bring your concealer fully up. But in this case, I think this photographs better and looks more sultry, more flattering. Taking a teeny bit more, just like that. Now option, you could stop here or you could add a bit more of the black eyeliner just in the outer corner and just keep it really thin, really small. If you want more liner than this, that's when you can choose to add more. I'm going to keep it to this. This looks really flattering and really pretty on my eye shape, and it's not too overwhelming for my eyes, but it's still going to photograph and bring out my eyes and really enhance them in flash photography. So I'm getting everything I want, but not too much. Now we need to add some powder highlighter. I thought about adding more of a glowy liquid highlighter, but ultimately, if your hair is down, you want to avoid sticky, tacky, jelly-like products on your skin because it's ultimately going to be too risky to maintain and to not mess up and not have it mess up your makeup. So powder highlighters are for the win. And we're going to enhance them. We're going to bring the skin-like finish back with that setting spray once we're done. One of my favorite affordable drugstore options for a good, very like smooth texture highlighter is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Hello Halo Blush Lighter. We're going to focus on this shade right here, but honestly, you could do both of these and they're just so pretty. This is the shade I Met Someone. And of course, I'll pop on the screen what I would normally use. We're going to use the backside of my N17 brush for powder, and we're going to swipe in to this beautiful, I mean, we'll just swipe into both, honestly. There's no right or wrong way to highlight. Tap off the excess. Hit the high points of your cheek. Do you see that? Don't go too low. Don't go too far in. We have more texture, traditionally speaking, in the inner part of our cheek. So I'm going to avoid here and hit the highest point. So that way when I get that flash, that photography going, it's going to be just so beautiful. Same thing. Bring it higher up. I like to do a bit on my forehead bone, basically. A bit right here, just for the flash photography. It's going to be a nice cascade of glow. Same thing, we're going to hit the highest point. Boom, 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 just like that. I mean, it's so pretty. And if you do go too far in on accident, like I just did, go back to your small powder brush and push it in and just kind of erase it. Our brushes are like the perfect eraser tools and blending tools all in one. Now I do want to add a teeny bit of this in my inner tear duct, so I'm going to use a smaller brush, the BK Beauty 207, and just add a little hint, little whisper of this on top of that lighter shade that we used way earlier. And we're going to use the same brush to pinpoint highlight the top of the bridge of the nose. We're going to avoid the center because you don't want to ski slope, and hit the very top of the bulb of your nose. Don't go too far down, that will droop down your nose. Keep it pretty high up. That'll lift up, give you a cute little boop boop, like button effect to your nose if you're going for that. It's also personal preference, so if you want to skip that, I'm not judging you. All right, guess what time it is? It's time for one of my favorite parts of any makeup application, and that's going to be lip. And actually, before I do, I lied to you. I'm going to dust off the bake just like that. How cute. My nose feels so cute. Now we have a drugstore bridal combo for the win. I say we because we're going to do it together, but I am so proud of this combination that I picked out. I can't even tell you. So an OG classic. It's an icon at the drugstore at this point. This is Nude Truffle from NYX. I highly encourage you to base and line your lips with a neutral earth tone first. This is going to look so beautiful in your photos. It's going to really enhance your lips. Don't go matchy-matchy. That never looks good. It kind of looks borderline kiddish and like clowny, to be honest. No offense to clowns or kids, but just trust me. So for example, we're going to do a pink matte lip with a gloss. I don't want to match my liner to my lipstick. I don't want a pink liner and then a pink lip and then a pink gloss. Like that's just, it's too much. You have to bring balance and contrast, and this is going to be the perfect tool. So I'm going to stop talking and I want you to line your lips how you prefer. I prefer a rounded Cupid's bow. This gives my lips a very soft effect and also a very like lifted up effect, therefore looking more full. And I know I have full lips-ish, but I'd like them to look fuller. Do what makes you feel like you. So if this doesn't make you feel like you, line your lips how however it makes you feel like you, because you want to be you, but a little bit better for your wedding day. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That's our mantra this entire time. Nude Truffle, and it's just a hit every single time. Such a great liner. I'm gonna shade inward a bit in the outer corner, just like that. We have a really nice shape going on. And now we can move on to a liquid lip. I'm in love with this color. It's so bridal. It's just so classic bridal. And when I think of like a bridal pink, this is like what I would think of, what I envision. So I was so happy when I found this, and it's like the perfect shade. It's from L'Oreal. It's a liquid lipstick formula that you know I love. I love the red one. I love this one called Breakfast in Bed. But this is the shade First Kiss, which is so appropriate for a bridal makeup look. When you get the first kiss, you get the idea. Definitely on theme with this makeup look. So we're gonna take the doe foot, start in the center. This is a matte, long wear liquid lip. Is it gonna feel the most comfortable if you're used to like more glossy, balmy lip oil type textures? No, but on your wedding day, you will thank me later if you choose something like this, because it's gonna stay on through eating, drinking, and we're gonna put gloss on top because it looks so pretty in photos that I cannot resist it. But just know when that gloss wears off, this bad boy and liner is still gonna be there cheering you on, which is what you want. All right, so lip is on. One thing I always do is I sandwich the lipstick or the liquid lip with the lip liner again. So I'm gonna go back to Nude Truffle. Stay with me. Bridal makeup is a journey, but the destination is always worth it. But it's a lot of work. It's not your everyday girl next door makeup look. It takes way more finessing and way more patience than an average makeup look. But this is what gives you that special pizzazz and that long wearing pizzazz. Oh, I love bridal makeup so much. I just love it. It makes me so happy. Now I want to go back to my brows one more time. They're looking a little bit washed out to my liking. I feel like I've run into them a few too many times doing this makeup look. So I'm gonna go back a bit more, okay? And then we're almost done with this journey. And hopefully after this video, and hopefully after you've done a practice round or two, I highly encourage you to do 2 if you're going to do your own makeup. Do like 2 practice rounds if you can. But hopefully after those practice rounds, you feel confident to do your own bridal glam on a budget, and you're going to save the money that you didn't spend on expensive makeup on maybe a down payment on a house. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, you'll have so much extra money, which is going to be great. All right, last but not least, gloss. This is the L'Oreal Paris lip color something. I will make sure this is linked. I can't remember the exact technical name, but this is in the shade Pristine Pink, and it's a thick creamier gloss, but what's great is it's not sticky. Okay, finishing step. Now I don't like to overload it. Just do the center and avoid your lip line and avoid going too far up, because as you talk and as you do that, inevitably you're going to push the gloss further and further up, and you don't want to mustache your lip gloss. So keep it low and know that it's going to move around on its own, basically. That is a nice drugstore gloss. Wow, such a good formula. Oh, okay. Final round and final step in this bridal makeup glam on a budget. One last spray of the Mask Fit from Tier, the waterproof setting spray, and then we're gonna be finished.
Let's fall deep down in love.
And that is a complete bridal makeup look on a budget. I really hope you found this video helpful. If you're a bride, a future bride, if you plan on practicing your own makeup for the big day and doing it on a budget with these amazing budget-friendly products, leave me a comment below. Let me know if you found this video helpful. If you recreate this makeup look on a budget for your bridal makeup look, please tag me so I can see it on Instagram or wherever you tag your photos. I would love to see your recreation of this classic bridal makeup look. It's timeless, it's elegant, it's something that you will not regret, and it's something that is going to look so beautiful in your photos. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you enjoyed this video and if you keep coming back, subscribe so I can see you in future videos to come. Thank you so much for watching. Happy bridal season, and I'll see you in the next one.